Works February 11th meeting. Could we please rise and say allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nina, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Lynch?
Here.
Member Finley? Member Lewis?
Here.
Member Sonity?
Here.
Member White?
Here.
Minutes of the previous meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 28th meeting. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the January 28th meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Old business. I see we do not have any old business. New business quotes for a new vehicle for the fire department. Tim?
Yes, we would basically just like the permission to go ahead and get some quotes for a new fire department vehicle. It's going to be an EMS response vehicle. It's either going to be by our on-duty incident commander, or it'll be a Fire 3 administration vehicle. We're not asking for any additional money for it. We have it in our EMS reverting fund. That fund is set up to be able to use it for items such as that. So we're basically just asking for approval to go ahead and start getting quotes for it.
How many quotes are you going to seek, Chief?
We'll try to seek 3. What we're looking for, there's not many places that will. We're trying to be competitive on the state bid. Otherwise, we're going to pay $15,000 more than we normally would. But we're going to try to get as many bids as we can. So we'll try for 3, at least 3. If not, we're definitely going to solicit at least 3, and hopefully we'll get them back from all 3 places.
All right. So we need a motion?
Yes, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to allow the fire department.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead, please.
Make a motion to allow the fire department to pursue quotes for a new vehicle.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Garbage pickup request at 5500 Central Avenue for Countryside Auto and RV Inc. Is someone here from? Do you have anything?
No, I
Renee?
have nothing on that, Mayor.
Okay.
They were on the agenda last month also, and they withdrew the request, but wanted to be on the agenda this time, so.
Okay. Pardon? Oh, yeah, I'll do that after.
Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me that. Permit for scrapping for Raymond Lawrence. Are you here, Raymond?
Yes, I am.
Could you please come to the table and state your name and address?
Raymond Lawrence, 75 Russian Water Drive, Portage, Indiana.
Okay.
I live outside the city limits. My only workspace is my truck. I don't have a business or anything like that. Whenever I pick up, I fill a truck, I take it in. I mean, it's not sitting around, there's no scrap playing around. I'm not allowed to have scrap in the trailer park where I live.
So you're seeking a permit for scrapping?
I was told I needed a permit from the police.
Did you have any comment on that, Chief?
There's a city ordinance that requires someone that's gonna scrap to have a permit.
Okay.
We're gonna follow that ordinance, so we're gonna either warn them or issue them a citation if they don't have the permit.
Okay.
With that said, we have no reason that we would be opposed to issuing.
Okay. So do we have a motion for the permit for scrapping for Raymond Lawrence?
Oh,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Scott.
No.
I make a motion that we issue a permit, I'm assuming this is for 1 year,
Yes, yes.
a 1-year permit that will expire on December 31st of this year. Is that correct, Chief?
As far as I know, I don't know the particulars on how long, I believe it's.
Okay, they'll probably tell them that at the, will you get this at the building department then?
We should get it at the building department
Okay.
clerk's office.
So I make a motion to approve a permit for scrapping for Mr. Raymond Lawrence. That will be a permit that will run to the end of the year. And this permit will be sought from our building department in City Hall.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. There you go, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you.
Major illness, and do we have major illness claims?
We have a lot.
Oh.
I believe there are 16 of them in this envelope. So I've gone through them, and albeit the department heads need to do a shade better at getting the documents filled out a little better, I would recommend that you approve what we have, where they all seem to fall within the criteria of our major illness ordinance.
We have a motion to approve the major illness claims.
I move to approve the 16 major illness claims.
We have a second.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Before we go into the public hearing, I just want Randy to introduce his new employee. We have a new employee who started yesterday,
Yes.
and so if you would please introduce him.
I'd like to introduce everyone to our Assistant Superintendent of Streets and Sanitation, Darren Godby. So,
Here.
Welcome aboard. Welcome.
thank you.
You ready to get to work, Darren?
I'm ready.
I know Randy said he had a laundry list of things for you to do, so. Okay, good. Welcome aboard. Is there anyone here for the public hearing? Does anybody have anything? I see that Proven is here. Nina, are they doing the presentation?
They were asked at the last meeting to come back.
Okay. Do you have anything you would like to bring up to us, guys?
We were just coming back to give an update on the Laserfish.
Okay.
Terry might be watching, but he's in a plane to California right now. As of now, ordered the AWS server for everything, for licensing, building the scope of work, and we've already started preliminary forms building process and have reached out to Tyler Tech for the data export. So if there's any questions, just please shoot us an email. And he wanted to be here, but he had obligations to be out west. So, and then in talks with the IT side of things, Emmanuel, who they're actually running 10 minutes late, has not started the rapid fire yet, because in working with some of the other departments, we actually found out there are a few departments that currently are not even being monitored by ADAR. So that kind of set a little hierarchy, if you will, on working with the clerk treasurer's office and I believe field force on seeing how their data is being secured and monitored currently. But those two areas are not under your IT contract currently. So kind of put a little precedent on figuring out what we need to do to help the city immediately with those needs. And then the copiers and phones also, we didn't know if those were on the agenda for today for vote, and if you had any questions regarding that.
I don't believe they're on the agenda today, so
Okay.
we'll maybe take them up the next time.
Okay.
We'll speak with Nina about that. Thanks for the update.
No
Does
problem.
anybody have any questions for Proven?
The only comment I would make is stay in touch with the mayor's office, the clerk treasurer's office as you proceed. If there's any issues that are gonna interfere with how this is expedited and the transfer is made, that you make them fully aware of that, so we can react and support that anyway as a city.
Absolutely, we're here. So,
Great.
thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. On other business, Dean, before the board, I would like to bring something up. I gave you all an invoice for South Shore Clean Cities. We have a table of 10 at that event, and I believe some of our police department, I believe, are you aware of that, Tim? I think Dan's going. I think there's some people from Field Forces. This is, it's just on clean fuels and clean fuel vehicles, and so I thought it would be a good thing for our department heads to go to it and learn about clean fuels, and if there was any way that our city could utilize them to ask questions. I know that the city of Hammond, currently their police force is using all CNG vehicles, but I do know that we had a bad experience with the E85s, and so I think that it's just best for us to gather information. It's an opportunity for our staff members to ask questions that concern them. So I am asking for approval of that invoice because it's not on the claims, but I do need to get a check off to Clean Cities.
Make a motion that we approve the $400 for this table of 10. I know it's outside of the docket that was presented to us today. Given the timeliness of this invoice, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, guys. We have the claims. I do have a couple of questions on claims. Nina, I did call Diane and asked her, when things get put on there and we table them like we did at the first Board of Works meeting, I don't see them coming back up on here. So and specifically the impact, I don't see the impact invoice on here. And it was on the last one, and I believe it was on the first one, but it's not.
It wasn't on the very first one.
Okay.
It was only on the last one, and it was just tabled. What we did last time is we just brought it back up, and then if it got approved, it would be on the following.
Okay.
Or it can get amended, and,
Okay.
and Lynn will add it in red, and then, and then along with the minutes.
Okay.
It got approved.
Because I do believe we have to approve that invoice. It was a contract that the previous mayor had with the company. We do need to honor that contract.
Yeah, and if there is one, I don't have a signed version. You only got the second notice invoice.
Okay. Also, I think that there was Access, that Retrievex, what's going on with that?
That was approved at the last one.
Okay, so we're okay with that one? And we're still gonna
And the
pay
law
this?
books be approved. The only one that we were hanging on to was the impact from last
Okay.
time. And then also we didn't get an unredacted legal bill.
Okay.
McHugh's law, because we got that now.
Okay.
The only thing I would ask on the Retrievex, I think there were some questions in regard to what exactly we were paying for. And I know that our attorney, Witten, and others have tried to get down to the bottom of that. We're not seeming to get an answer because I just don't think people know exactly. So that is a monthly contract of $1,700. So I would ask that the clerk treasurer work with our attorney to find out exactly and determine exactly what we're paying for. It appears, and I say appears, that we're paying for some cloud storage possibly, or some storage of that type, as well as some physical storage of boxes. But personally, I've never been able to identify where that storage is and exactly what's involved, so,
We brought it up before, it's the planning department.
okay.
Um,
And I don't think we got clear response in terms of what that includes. That concerns me.
I would think it's building department. We don't have anything outside of our current IT.
So I've asked the planning department some time ago to see if they can dig a little deeper in the well and find me something that would memorialize the original agreement. To date, they haven't been able to find such a thing. The invoice has a little bit of information on it, but it seems to allude to data storage, but then there's a belief that we have hard files stored as well. I don't have a copy of the original agreement. But I'll keep looking. They will reach out to the vendor and say, provide it to us or we're just not gonna pay anymore.
Well, I mean, my concern is, what is that and how can we access it? I mean,
So I'll send a letter over to the vendor later on today, requesting that from them, since the building department doesn't seem to have it.
I mean, if it's
The
stored
better
in
question is
boxes.
why, if it's a lot of the cloud storage, why wasn't it stored on the DAR servers?
Mhm. I just think, Nina, if it's boxes of stuff, we need to know where it's at. I mean, that's kind of scary. I mean,
It
might
says
be-
it's boxes, some X amount of legal boxes, so it could be old plans.
Yeah, but there also, that's true, but there was also something in there about data.
There's, right.
Yes, it was weird how they broke it out. I'll figure it out. I'll request of the vendor a copy of the original agreement.
Well, I'd like to know where it's housed.
And that too.
I mean, when you look up the site, it comes up out of country, so.
Well, they had two, they had a US website
Okay.
and
Yes.
I just appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Scott, absolutely.
So, has everybody seen the claims? Are there any other questions on the claims?
I have something.
Okay.
I think it's page 3,
Okay.
and it's our salt for our roads. It's not that I'm not, pay this, but when we were city councilmen, Sue, and that under Mayor Velasquez, we purchased rock salt with a co-op with the state, and I just asked Nina, and it was a lot cheaper, but they haven't been doing it in the last 8 years. And I don't know, I see we got, 34,000 into road materials.
Almost 40, yeah.
44,000.
Yeah.
So I just want to know if we could look into that with Randy.
I could answer that. Every March, we enter a state bid, and it's controlled by the state. It goes out to public bid. A lot of municipality, communities, nonprofits enter into that bid and try and get the best tonnage.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened with the salt resources this year, but the price did go up 20% with that bid, and many competitors do bid against that. So, but from last year it was 64. This year went up to 77 a ton. So, but that is a state bid that we're in.
That is,
Yes.
that is part of the state
Yes.
co-op.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Randy, have you heard of One Indiana?
Yes, that's part of
Is that
that.
part?
That is part of that. So.
Okay.
So the supply that we have on hand, Mr. Reader, it looks like it's going to be adequate for this year.
Yes.
Of course, barring any surprises, but, so we're at least anticipating that we're not going to have to purchase any more salt?
No, we will have to purchase some more salt depending on how March plays out for us, so it's unexpected. But right now, we're under the state bid. We're obligated to 80% of what we allotted. So we allotted 4,000 tons, so we're at 1,500 to go, so. This is actually a 400-ton order, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just part of those orders. Our salt barn is limited. It only holds about 1,800, so we're constantly ordering salt, so, to keep that barn topped off. So.
And we have to honor 80%.
Of that 4,000.
Of that 4,000.
So we got about 1,500 more to go
Okay.
under the contract.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask a question. Just I'm not as familiar with the loans that go back and forth. Can we go to the page that shows the temporary loans?
I think that's on the first page.
But it just starts with the city, CLPD, CCD. Where's the money coming from?
It's coming from, it just is from money we already have that gets moved around from one fund to another because certain things come out. So like our cable TV income, we only get that every quarter. There's other funds we get every month. And then if certain things are being pulled from to be paid, we can move money over, otherwise we're running the negative every month.
Okay.
So Lynn tries to stay ahead of that and move it ahead of time. Until we have more money, there's no other options. There is the loan from the COPD from cable TV for $250,000. That actually is going to be reversed because when we did the bond bank loan, we funded the COPD, but they titled it wrong, so she didn't know where it was supposed to go. So that will be reversed.
Mr. Lewis, I'll just add from the council, this is a very common practice to cash flow the city, to move fairly large amounts of money from one fund to the other throughout the year. Try to minimize that, but in order to cash flow, and when we receive monies, as the clerk treasurer said, we have to follow this procedure.
Okay. I was just curious because I see a
No,
lot.
it's a great question. Great
Thank
question. Yes.
So Nina, are we doing okay now with getting that new money in from the Indiana Bond Bank? We're doing okay? Do we have a cash balance? Have we gotten a cash balance?
I have actual cash versus appropriation.
Okay. If there are no further questions, I will entertain a motion to approve the claims. And those claims are for $2,866,992.85.
Plus the 400.
Plus the 400. Thank you, Nina.
Give me a second. Did you motion?
I didn't motion, I can't motion.
Oh, you can't motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept the docket.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second, any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. If there is no further business to come before the Board of Works, I would entertain an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you, everyone.
Find a new job. You started?
So I'll get the original if you want that one. Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.